welcome once again for this today's webinar presentation by Ms.Meera Rajah and Mr. Robert Holland. I think we are more fortunate to have people like you in the industry. Of course, you are into the business evaluation, auditing, but you are also into the filmmaking. I think it's a rare combination, but still, we would like to have the sharing of your experience with our students so that it will go a long way in combining the theoretical knowledge which our students are gaining through our curriculum and also your experience. So with these few words, I once again extend a very warm welcome to both our guests of today for this webinar program. Now over to Professor Prakash.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Over to our eminent guest of the day, Ms.Meera Rajah and Mr. Robert Holland. Over to you.
I just want to, first of all, say a brief thing about this presentation. Please ask questions towards the end of the presentation, and we'll try and make it as interesting as possible for you guys. Robert is going to do the first part of it, and I'm going to do the second part of it. And I'm going to ask one question now, so which you can collectively, or at least one person can answer at the end of it. That is just to let us know whether we've done a good job, whether you guys have listened to it properly. The question I want to ask is, what is the reason the foreign filmmakers, basically international filmmakers who come into the UK, in your view, what are the three things? What is the main three things they come to the UK for? So that's the question. So think about it throughout the presentation, and then you can answer towards the end. So I'm going to now hand over to Robert, who's going to take you through the first bit of it. Then I will join in for the second bit.
What I want to talk to you in the first part is a little piece about filming in the UK and the creative industry tax relief that we have. But first, I thought I'd just give a little bit of background to my own experience within media before I met Meera and we started to work in film. I actually have a background in the UK of dealing with media businesses, but mostly mine was I actually dealt with as auditor of one of the national television companies in the United Kingdom, and I've also dealt with a number of UK production companies. So I already had some familiarity before we started this process. But I have to say that Meera is the person who's brought the ability to work with companies from around the world into the UK with the creative industry tax relief scheme that we have in the United Kingdom, that I just want to explain to you fairly briefly now. So we basically we basically have a situation where I particularly enjoy working on these sorts of things, because essentially what you have is things that are not normal for accountants to do, because to complete the form, which I'll talk about in just Meera will talk about in a little bit, you have to basically read scripts, you have to read script synopses, you have to deal with budgets and shooting schedules and all sorts of things that accountants don't normally do. So it's interesting work for us to be involved with. But in terms of the creative industry tax relief, in the United Kingdom, if you film in the UK, it's quite popular with international filmmakers, because 25% of all UK qualifying production expenditure can be gained from the government as tax relief, i.e. you get tax back in cash. And this was introduced in 2007. Now, an important point here, it's not 25% of what you spend in the UK, it's 25% of what relates to the UK. So you could bring people from India over to the United Kingdom, you could pay them in India, but the proportion of their time that's spent in the UK is claimable from the UK government as tax relief. So it's a bigger scheme than some of the schemes around the world, where essentially you get the cash spend that you disperse in the country that you have. And to qualify, basically, all films, animation, television programs. There's also a theatre scheme and others as well. They must be certified as British by passing what's called a cultural test set by the British Film Institute. This certificate is applied for using an online application, and this is the thing that we particularly specialise in. So what do? We do a number of things in terms of production companies. One of the things we do is set up a specialist company in the UK to run the UK end of things. Unlike India, setting up a company is remarkably simple in the UK. It takes literally about 5 minutes online, and so it's the simplest thing in the world to do. And we will set that up very quickly, because and then what we'll do is we'll deal with the dealing with the completion of the British Film Institute application for people, so that they can get the necessary 18+ points. We work very closely with whoever the line producer in the UK is. We deal with bigger producers and funders in India when we come to visit, but we tend to deal with the line producers and local actors and technical crew when they're working in the UK. We do make regular set visits. We also undertake all the tax compliance that there is in terms of dealing with the production, including the film tax credit. Now, that the two main ones to deal with are actually going to be our version of GST, which is called VAT, and also corporation tax, which is company tax. And then, if it's a very large production, we will tend to work on dealing with the audit requirement. Now that in the UK, you only have to audit a company if it has a turnover or sales of more than 10 million sterling. And although there are some very large productions made from India, typically what happens is there's a cycle of a film which can last over more than one period. So it's not so often that actually you get to a situation where you need an audit. But if there wasn't a requirement, we would deal with that. So but the critical part is that we work very closely with line production whilst they're in the UK, just to make sure everything runs smoothly. And Meera is going to talk to us a little bit more about that now.
Right. I'm going to talk about, there is as Robert mentioned, we have to do a cultural test to qualify. Every film in the UK, including the British films, have to qualify, go through this certification process. To go through that certification process is that that's why we need to read the script, synopsis, and also shooting schedule and the budget, everything. We have to look at it. To qualify, you need 18 points out of a 35 points. So this is the certificate is basically, if you think about how you're going to, it's quite similar to when you are applying for a university application. So you just need to sell yourself. We need to sell this film to the British Film Institute to say, yes, this film does qualify. So that is what we do. We specialize in. We've been very successful. We have 100% successful rate in that. So to do, for example, you need to see where the film is set, whether how the story lies with it. A girl comes from India, falls in love with somebody in the UK. It's an interaction. I mean, I'm just giving a typical Indian film story. So though, or is in the story, are there any British citizens, or is this, are you using any British cultural things on it? So it is like, we need to look at all of that in terms of reading the script. So it's not just reading a one-page synopsis. We need to read the whole script to see how everything fits in, where is it based, and how the dialogue, and also whether are they using any English words in it. So all of that has extra points for it. So when you say we would ask for a word count. So if it's, for example, if it's a Tamil film, and then we need to look at the Tamil language and also to see how many of those words just come, go, sit down, all of that counts. So we will have to do that work to see if there's a 3,000 words in one scene, how many of those words are in English. So that doesn't mean where there's some very good filmmakers have gone and changed everything to English. It's not like that at all. That is one of the categories. There are many different categories. There is one of the categories. And also, we also demonstrate to the British creative heritage and other, how the diversity works between India crew coming in and working with the UK crew, how they collaborate, how they learn from each other. All of that gives them extra points, and also how much you, what is the percentage you spend in the UK. To qualify, you only need to spend 10% of the total budget in the UK. So if you have a budget where, you know, you got so many millions, but you're only going to spend 10%, that will give you, that is the first qualification. So once you have that, then we can start on this application. And we do that. As I said, we've been quite successful in doing it. And reading the scripts again, like Robert mentioned before, it is a great thing to take our time out of VAT and take our time out of accountancy to read something creative, which not many accountants do. But my team is now, it's all, you know, apart from me, all of my colleagues are Western colleagues, but they now know how an Indian film story will go when they start the first few lines or the first bit. They will actually now know how this story is going to go, which is a great thing. It's a massive, really good interaction between two films. And also, I'm pleased to say that a lot of us do watch these films. And also when we see the credits as well in our names on it, it gives us an extra buzz to do a better job in the next film. And it is great. It's a great thing that, you know, we're actually got to this. And when we do the cultural test, the script writing comes into it, and the post-production. We have a lot of post-production houses in the UK. I know India is very, very, very advanced in technology and also with the post-production. Equally, we have post-production services here. And one of the other things that we kind of get is that the crew will come from India. Of course, you would have seen right at the beginning with the photo with Vishal, with the DOP, who's a very, very well-known DOP, Nirav Shah. So people like him, a lot of the producers bring their own DOPs, own technical people from India. But when they come here, then they have got an opportunity to work with the junior technicians from the UK. So you don't have to bring everybody into the country. And also the union, I understand, this was told to us by Kamala Hassan when we had a meeting with him, where he said that he prefers to shoot now abroad than in India because he can use lesser people in the UK. So that sometimes the cost is cheaper in the UK because you don't have to have 100 people on the set. Because our union here, film union, yes, we do have a film union in the UK, but their main concern is everybody's getting paid properly rather than having a number of people. So if we're in India, you may have 100 people, but in the UK, you may be able to do that with 25 or 30 because the facilities are different and different things that work better in the UK in terms of this is coming from the producers. And you will hear a couple of producers towards the end with their, and directors with their, you know, how what they have experienced in the UK. And also the difference is having said that, some of the directors have struggled in the UK because the way of working is different in a Western country. I'm not just saying in UK, I'm sure that will be the same in Budapest or Germany or wherever. But in our experience is what some of them struggle is where you wake up in one morning and then I've seen that in many sets and in several films when they say, oh, actually, I don't want to film today. But what they don't, in India, that might work, that if you don't want to work, if you only want to do 2 hours or 3 hours, but in the UK, it is that you have paid for extras. You have booked an extra. So if you're going to come in the morning and you have asked for extras for 12 hours for the day, and if you, for some reason, say, I'm only going to film for 5 hours, you still have to pay them the 12 hours because that is a UK employment law. Because you hired them, you can't cancel them at the last minute. So little things like that. And also you pay for a location. And if they say, oh, we don't fancy filming today, well, you still have to pay for the location fee. You can't, you know, if it's something privately owned, you might be able to negotiate with them to say, okay, you know, we will film tomorrow or day after. But if it's like any government buildings or anything like that, you know, you can't. Then on the other hand, UK government is also encouraging people to come into the UK, where there are certain places in certain cities like London, the location is free. But only thing is that they will tell you is that, can you film on a Sunday morning? Or, you know, they might give you a specific time, but there are a number of locations which are free. So again, you know, it's easy for people to come in and film because the cost is, they can control the cost. And film cost, getting into the film cost, the post-production cost, like I said, is in terms of getting the tax rebate, UK is the first country which introduced this. Now the many countries within the Europe and within the world are looking, have copied our model, copied the UK model, and they are doing the same similar thing. But UK is the only one of very few countries who's allowing to claim that 25% back, even above the line cost, like your actors and producers and director cost. So that is a great thing. That is why a lot of people come to the UK to film, because it's beneficial for them. So the below the line costs, there are like Malta, places like Malta, even Abu Dhabi and Dubai, they all give cash rebates to say that, you know, just you can, whatever you spend in our country, you can claim it back. And that's it. But that's only for below the line cost. So UK is the only country, which is like one of the very few countries, which allows above the line cost as well. So for an example, if an actor is going to charge £1 million or $1 million for a film, you're going to get, and you're going to film 90% of it in the UK, 5% is in India. So how you will then separate his fees, his or her fees will be, okay, that 950,000 or whatever that is going to be against the UK cost. So you'll be able to claim that 25% back. So it's only the other 5%. That is where we will come in and help people to say, no, you have not budgeted properly. You have to think about this, or you have budgeted less, or you budgeted more. So we help them with from the beginning, and we hold hands with them, especially if somebody's coming into the UK for the first time. And also we go to the sets. So we go to the set to see, you know, how their work is been happening. So, and while being in the set, then we can find any errors if they're not budgeted for it properly, and you know why you can't do. And what you are seeing on the screen now is a set of Butler. So this was filmed mostly in Scotland. And then when we were filming in Scotland, this was filmed. I know Tupsy's got the jacket on there, but it was a hot day. So whereas they were able to do the fake snow. That's what you're seeing there as a snow is a fake snow. It was filmed on a sunny day in August, but they were able to do that. And this was done within like minutes, and it was back to normal for the next scene. So these are all like, you know, where the producers feel it's quite easy to come in and do, and then everybody is prompt in doing it and easy to get the crew in. So whatever you want snow, you want this, you want snow, even on that's a peak summertime in August, they managed to do it, and there was no delays. And outdoor scenes and the indoor scene, again, the producer, the directors there are some directors work differently, which I have found in going to different sets, and I understood that how they work. Some of them work like scene by scene. They don't change the scenes according to the weather or anything like that. So say for an example, if they say it's an outdoor scene today, it is an outdoor scene today. So if it's torrential rain, they don't move it. There are some newer producers, newer directors, they're a bit flexible in the sense to say, okay, it's raining today, let's do that tomorrow, day after when it's sunny, let's move the indoor shoots in. So that flexibility is there. That's all the new up and coming people are much more flexible to do that way. So it is like, it's quite interesting to see how all the filmmakers and the newer filmmakers, this all works differently. And also it is very interesting to see how even within the different regions, how people work differently. Because we've done Hollywood, we're doing English films, we've done Bollywood films, we've done Telugu, we've done Tamil, we've done Malayalam. Everybody kind of works differently, but the end of the day it's a passion, and also how much they love filmmaking in the UK now because of the facilities so they could get and I'm hoping quite a number of you would have recognized these two actors. That was one of the last ones on our set. It's Vishal and Prasanna or Prasanna. I'm going to show you some of the films. We've done several films in the last couple of years. We've done about 35 films. Successfully started the companies and got their tax rebates for them, and also helped them from start to finish in everything they need help with. So some of the names there, you will probably recognize those films. I'm hoping some of you have seen it. So next time when you see Robert Holland or Meera Rajah on the script, on the credits, you can now tell them that you've actually had an interaction with us. I'm going to play something from Kunal Kohli. He's done a little video for you guys to share his experience. And hopefully, please listen to it carefully. The sound may not be good, but I'm happy to share this presentation with all of you, so you can also listen to this again in your own time. I'll play it now.
I've been filming in the United Kingdom since 2002, my first film in Silver. After that, regularly, every couple of years, I've been fortunate enough to film in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom today has a lot of facilities for filming, for rebate, for post-production facilities, excellent crew, equipment, everything. You name it, everything. Of course, when I started shooting in 2002, it wasn't that easy, and it was very difficult to find good line producers, good technicians. Equipment was almost impossible. But today, things have completely changed. And today, filming in the United Kingdom is a breeze. I know I can put up a shoot in the UK within like 24 hours. I can be shooting anything within 24 hours in the UK anywhere. Permissions are very easy. Getting permissions to shoot even in crowded, busy streets during Christmas, I've done that as well. And that has been a complete blocking of streets, shooting with crowds, without crowds, any kind of filming has been so convenient that sometimes I really wish that I didn't have to shoot anywhere else but in me.
And I'm going to play something next. This is Sujoy Ghosh, who's the director of Butler. I thought you guys would like to hear from him as well.
Hi, I'm Sujoy Ghosh, and I shot a film in the United Kingdom last year, no, actually, called Butler, which was shot extensively and completely in Glasgow, Avignon, and the regions surrounding it. And I have to say, it was one of the most fantastic experiences I've had shooting a film outside India. Everything just fell into place. I don't know how, but everything just magically fell into place. And we started controlling invitations, the crew, with some of the operators, technicians over here, the cast, the permissioning, everything. It just seemed to fall into place. And then the icing on the cake was the food, which was pretty awesome. I love the food. So we ate, and whatever time we didn't eat, we shot and we made a film. And the weather was fantastic because we shot in the summer. So all in all, we had a fantastic experience. And to the extent, I never shot out of India before Butler. And now my next 3 scripts are all set in the UK. The toughest part is to write a script which organically fits into the UK. And I think I'm so greedy to come back to UK. I am writing scripts like that. So yeah, if you can do it, I would strongly recommend that you try it out. Yeah, and I hope you'll enjoy as much as I did. Bye.
Okay. So So that's you guys have heard it from the horse's mouths that how much they enjoy filming in the UK. One of the things I think where Sujoy's touched on about the food, that we have like amazing any kind of food. For an example, we have one particular caterer who even like the actor Akshay Kumar will say that, oh, I've been filming for 20 days, I'm missing my home food, and they will quickly go and make it for him. And the same way, a lot of caterers here are very well known to sambar, to rasam, to idli, to everything, because it's understanding of when they're away. The Telugu film Next NT, when the last one Kunal Kohli directed, when they were doing it, they were here for 45 days. So you can imagine that how important the food is, because the people are going to be homesick. I think one of the things people do forget is that if they are celebrities or if they are big actors, they're not going to feel homesick, but they're the ones who mostly feel homesick. And then one of the main thing they miss is the home food. So, there are caterers here. And this is another reason now more and more people you would hear some of these actors or producers say, UK is like their second home now to do filming, because they have all these facilities, because they feel homely, and also they can easily get extras, and any technicians or anybody they want in the UK, it's easy to get these days. It's getting better every year by year. It's getting better. I know we're all going through a difficult time at the moment. Filming is not happening, but nevertheless, post-production is taking place. And also, we may have to work in the new guidelines even after the lockdown. There's new guidelines have gone out. But hopefully there will be happy days soon. So, okay, now I need to go back and ask you guys for the question that I asked initially. What are the 3 things you think that people come to the UK for filming?
Ma'am, they can send through chats. They can't speak.
Okay.
Yeah, only we can speak actually. The webinar setting is like that.
Okay, fine.
Now I will say like the audience can post your answers where.
Yes, I think somebody has asked to repeat the question, so I shall repeat the question. The question was, there are many reasons why the international films come into the UK to film. In your mind, after this listening to us, what do you think? What are the 3 things you think important to you guys? You think that, that you come to the UK? Okay.
Can I just say a few words about that, madam?
Yeah, go on, you can start.
Of course, the answer is already in your presentation about.
Yes.
The first thing is about, of course, the present day context, the cost reduction about.
Yes.
The second, of course, you already told, when the people come to UK for film production, they need not come with the entire crew, but probably 1/4. With that, you can able to manage the entire film in UK.
Yeah.
That shows your efficiency, probably the availability of better infrastructure and your involvement about.
Yeah.
The second aspect is the tax relief, of course.
Yeah.
The UK probably give the benefit of 25% of expenditures can be taken as the relief out of a total budget. It's really a good relief.
Yeah.
That may be one of the drive that makes the people to come to UK for filming. Maybe the third I can tell about the use of better technology, though India is having better technology nowadays, but still with regard to the film industry, it is better to share the technological development of a country like UK.
Yeah.
So that will give you a better result when the film is made in a place like UK. Using your technology, your infrastructure, the manpower, the human resource, whatnot about, right? So,
I'm really pleased that you listened to our presentation.
Of course.
No, that's good. And I think Selvi
Yeah. Right.
And
Srinivasan.
yeah, Selvi and Sanjay.
Okay.
Few people have mentioned cost reduction and to get different ideas, and a few people have mentioned cost and tax reduction and a better technology. So well done, all of you. Looks like you have listened to it. Yeah, one of the two specific questions I would like to answer. One question I've got here is from Aswati. What are the main difference between Indian filmmaking and the UK making?
Yes.
Yeah, the difference is, like I said, you don't need that many crews, and one of the main thing is time. You know, you say you start at 9 o'clock, and because of the location and all of that, you have to pay the extras for the time you're hiring them. As a result of all of that, you have to start on time and you have to finish on time. For example, Accidental Prime Minister, when they were filming in the UK, that's all Indo, as you know, the reasons behind it, because it was controversial and everything else, then they did the whole filming in the UK. The whole 25-30 day shoot was all indoors. Because it's indoors, they started on time and everything was prompt. They were able to have their breaks on time and they finished on time. So that, and I have been to a couple of sets. For an example, I was in Robert and we were in Annapurna Studios a few years ago, and they were filming something there. And the number of people I saw on the set I think, is less than 50% what you would see in the UK. So that is the bigger difference here. And also the interaction is slightly different, because in the UK, in a set, you will see, you know, everybody's talking to everybody. You know, it's just like, you know, sometimes you need to go and find the main actor, who's the main actor. But in India, you know, I think the status is different, right? The actors are almost like gods in India. So, you know, when you go to a set, you can pretty much say who is the main actor, who is the supporting actor, and everything else. So those kind of a difference is there. And I do see now that's changing when people come from India. They also work differently in the UK. And that's one of the biggest changes. I hope that answers your thing. Are there more good, I've got a question here from Jayant. Are there good location in shoot? Of course. What you need to remember is, when you say in England, UK, we got Scotland, we got Wales, we got Northern Ireland. You want coastal, you want countryside, you want history. There's loads of things. And I have told recently what Sujoy's film, where we have engaged with him to do 3 more films. And I keep telling him, go to this location, go there, because when you read the script, there are a lot of historical places in the UK. It's depending on what you want to show. I think people probably might be fed up of seeing London too much, because you have the London Eye, you have the London Bridge, you have the dance, and all of that is now, they will be looking at other things more. Prabhakaran, Mr. Prabhakaran, you've got animation and VFX using film industry. Yes, you know, we've got Prime here, or Double Negative. We have lots of big VFX post-production houses in the UK. And animation is getting very popular in the UK at the moment. And I also know there are a lot of creative Indian young people who have come to the UK and set up their own post-production. So they are small, but some of the producers are using them now, which is a great thing. So there is work for everybody, and also the VFX industry, I think it is one of the bigger one. Dharma's currently doing Brahmastra, and I understand Brahmastra, 70% of it is going to be VFX and the post-production work. So it is all done. That work is done in the UK. So you got that there is a big appetite for VFX work at the moment, and animation. And also during this lockdown time, everybody's thinking things differently, and animation is I hear in the last 2-3 months it's become more popular. People have been talking about it more. I'm going to pass you over to Robert to answer. There's one question for him.
Hello there. So
how do I look at Indian cinema? I think it's quite interesting in that I've probably seen, Meera has lent me, I can't remember which ones they are, but she always mentions Cocktail at every opportunity. I think it's her favorite film. It's also one of mine as well. But she has given me 2 or 3 of the more traditional classic Indian films. One of the things I find interesting, particularly over the last few years, is the variety of change that's occurred in Indian cinema. Indian cinema is actually much more diverse in terms of what is presented, in terms of what's available now. For example, there's a horror film. Which one's the horror film that we were involved with, Meera? The one in London. But no, there's another one as well. Anyway, but there's horror films that we're now involved. Whereas historically, I'm not aware that there's a long tradition of horror films in Indian cinema. So I think actually, in many ways, it's very innovative, and actually, in many ways, because it's open to new ideas and has embraced change. Actually, in some ways, it's less stuck in its ways now than possibly quite a lot of Western cinema, which can often, sometimes now, be increasingly formulaic and driven by Hollywood. The one thing I would also just point out, by the way, just in terms of animation and VFX in the UK, we owe a great deal in the UK for Harry Potter, because the entire British post-production industry was completely kick-started by J.K. Rowling insisting on Harry Potter films being made in the UK, and that means that all the facilities and technology and the expertise that we have for that is then available for people from all around the world. I'll pass back to Meera now.
Okay.
I have one more question. I think both of you are basically the tax background of it. Am I right?
No, I'm from a tax background person. Robert is accounting background, and he's a forensic accountant, valuation, and all of that. So between us, we work well together. But we put a team together where we have tax experts.
Yeah, of course.
And we have tax experts, VAT experts, and duty as well, and audit and accounts, because it's you would think that's not going to have any effect on duty, but it does, because India, a lot of people do come with their own props. So you need to import the props in. So how you bring in the props and then take it back without paying any duty or anything like that, because there is a relief for temporary import and all of that. So we deal with all of our team deals with all of it.
Yeah, thank you. I think people with the tax and company law background, you are more into even technical aspect of that. So there's a blend of both your tax and then the technical aspect. Very good.
Yeah, so that's and also this is going into this industry is actually, I must say, it is a great opportunity to for us as well to take our mind off accounting for a while, which is nice. And I think it's good to have that, because when we take ourselves out of doing accounting and tax advice all the time, when you go back into it, it helps us anyway.
Very good.
I've got a question here from, is it Vigneshwar? It's about, okay, he's like, his answers to my questions is like, one, he said he feels that it's a good location. And the second one, he says, peaceful state of mind, where young filmmakers like, you yourselves can involve in many projects, which is very, very true. There are a lot of short films, a lot of creative, smaller films come in. And we have a lot of students type of filmmakers who come to our firm to say that, okay, what will be a fee that I've done all the work, I've got this film, but I don't know how to do the tax rebate, I don't know how to do the accounts. And we help them with those ones as well. So we don't have to do everything, but there are a lot of young filmmakers who say, we want to do everything, we've done everything, but on the account and the tax side, can you help us? So, there's a lot of filmmakers are coming along now. It is brilliant. Janani, I think the question is, whether we could get you into the film side. Of course, if you are studying creative industry, you have to get into the film side. You know, it's like there are opportunities for everybody. And yes, Robert's been there. People yesterday, somebody said Robert should act in a film. So, you know, there's even opportunity for him go for creativity industry. Internship. I was in a call yesterday. I'm actually now collaborated with British Film Institute and a group of people, where is one of the questions here from Prabhakaran to see that whether intern and animation and VFX for the Indian students. That's one of the topics which came out yesterday. And I'm more than happy once I have a second conversation with them and I can share that link with your college, and then you can connect with them, because what they do is they do young talents and up and coming people. They do short commercials. They do a lot of different things. When things are a bit smoother after COVID, they might look at taking interns. So, you know, it'll be for their benefit as well, because you will be taking some knowledge from India and then you can also learn from stuff from the UK. I'm quite happy to share that with your college, and then you can go through that. That will be the right way to do it.
Thank you, Meera. And one word with Mr. Robert. I think I'm happy that you had already had a assignment with the PwC. I'm happy to share that even I too had in 1998. I had done a mini project for PwC with about corporate disclosure practices. So I think we had a link already with the PwC as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think that the other questions from Prakash, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I would see like there is a complex combination of economics and cinema come together in a form of a firm that helps the budding filmmakers, the independent filmmakers, and the traditional filmmakers to come to UK and make their projects commercially viable, and you know, they can even cut off their budgets when they do filming in UK. So that your presentation showed a holistic view on how the Indian filmmakers can cash it on when they come to UK and make films. So my question is, how the independent filmmakers and the low budget filmmakers can get benefits out of it when they shoot in United Kingdom.
Yeah. So for an example, you don't have to. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, for an example, you don't, whether you're a small filmmaker or a bigger filmmaker, it doesn't matter. So, you know, you can make a film with 100,000 or 100 million. So even for 100,000 or very even smaller than that, all of this 25% is still there for you to claim. So we can still help you with that. So basically, you know, how the British film industry works is that you have to qualify. Once you qualify, it is a UK film. There is not a fixed amount you need to spend in the UK. You can even spend £10,000 and do a film.
Wow.
There's nothing to stop you. There's no monetary value. The only thing the Film Institute says is if your total budget is 10,000, you need to spend 10%, minimum 10% in the UK. But if you're going to have a small budget film, why wouldn't you make 100% in the UK? You'll get 25% back.
Okay.
Did you understand that?
Yeah. Yes.
Because, you know, if it is a small budget film, it is in your benefit to make the film whole in the UK, because one, you will finish it quickly, and the other is you're already going to get 25% of your cost back.
Yes, that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, so that's there for even for a small budget film or high budget film. So I hope I've answered that.
Yep.
For you.
And,
I've got a question here from Aparna, who asks us what kind of clients make up our client base. For Issa, I take it is for films. If I Currently, I think it's a high percentage of Bollywood. We also got theatre credits, and in the UK, the British film side of it, we have a lot of your um, a lot of films on short films, small, all these people who are coming out of colleges also making films. So we got some of those, but our bigger percentage, I would say currently, is this financial year, is Bollywood. We have stepped into the Tamil market and also Telugu, but Bollywood is always had an appetite to film in the UK. Would love to see more Tamil films coming to the UK. We are also engaged to do Mohanlal's film. So we should have started filming now, but as a result of COVID, we are starting that in October. So I think they must have announced that already. So that will be a bigger South Indian film. But the higher percentage, I must say, currently is Bollywood. Right. Magant Kumar Baghubali. What do I think about Baghubali? I think Rana Raghupati is a very good-looking guy, but I did have a meeting with him, and Robert had the pleasure of meeting him too. Yeah, I mean, that goes to show it is the VFX is brilliant in that film, I must say. Everybody's talking about, I think it's one of those films where it's a family film, isn't it, that where you can watch with your younger children and kids so I've got nothing wrong to say about Baghubali. So it is good, but would like to see a lot of films. My last Tamil film I watched was 96. So 96, yes, it is called 96, isn't it? Yeah. So that was a good film.
Wow, that's great. And actually, you watch more of South Indian films, I guess, because you pronounce.
I speak Tamil.
Wow, great. Vanakkam.
I speak Tamil. Vanakkam. நான் வந்து ஸ்ரீலங்கால இருந்து வந்ததால தமிழ் பேசுவேன். சவுத் இந்தியன் டயலெக்டும் பேசுவேன் நான் ரொம்ப நல்லா.
Wow. So it's so lovely to hear Tamil from UK along with Robert. And
Thank you.
I just pointing out the word Telugu, you pronounced as Telugu, which is the exact pronunciation of it. So
yeah,
that makes how you are so into the languages that you work for in terms of film production and the budget behind it. So that makes actually lovely working with your concern. And the most important thing that you mentioned about the cuisines, like you make the film crew feel home when they are in UK. So that's brilliant, and that's the one people expect from a company who takes care of them when they land in the UK. So that was brilliant, and we see a couple of personalities who take care of the commerce on one side and the filmmaking on the other side, and clubbing together and giving it and getting more beneficial for the filmmakers, and helping the film industry a lot. So thank you for that. And shall we have a couple of questions, and then we'll have
sure. Yes. I've got somebody's asked me, what was the last Telugu film have you watched last? I'm going to put my hand up and say, other than Baghubali and Next NT, because of Kunal's direction and it was filmed here, I must say I haven't watched any. Happy to recommend some good ones. I will watch it. I'm also trying to learn that language too. So it's like it'll be good. And also then I pass it to Robert to watch it with the subtitle. So number one. And I think one of the films that I know he liked Cocktail. That's a Bollywood one, and Lagan, because he's into cricket. So those it's interaction. It is quite nice. because we get the DVD as well, because
Okay.
as soon as the film is finished, we have to do the final certificate. So when we do the final certificate, we need to make sure everybody's got the right credits and everything else. So we get to watch it before even it goes out on the cinemas. But it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting watching it. So, you know, when you go to the set and to see it, one of the films, I don't know if you guys have not seen it, please watch Rang Root. It's a Punjabi film, but it was based on the First World War. So it was all filmed in the UK, and it was really good.
Yeah, there's one question from the student who is based at Kerala. Like he has asked,
yeah,
UK film industry spend more time for shooting a film, or they spend more on post production?
I lost you there a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, say that.
He's
say
asking
that
like
again.
in UK film industry, the film industry spends either more time on shooting the film or the post production of the film.
It's a mix, really, depending on the story. Like Wrong Route had, I think they had about 250 to 200 extras, because there was like wartime and then, you know, armies and all of that. So they needed Indian Army and the UK Army. So if you want to show like you got like thousands of army, but you can do there will be more VFX on that rather than the actual shooting, because you can have 100 or 200 and the rest is going to be VFX. So it's depending on the film. But as you know, VFX cost is very, very high. So where is a normal family story or normal feature film, the VFX is not going to be much. And if you're going to be talking about like a historical film, of course, there's going to be a lot of VFX in it. So it's depending. It's entirely depends on the story, how much they spent on VFX and how much they spend on actual shooting. But in our experience, there is a two totally separate films, basically. You know, normal a family story, a love story, a normal thing, you will only see their actual 45 days shooting or 25 days shooting. And the VFX, if it's going to be high, it's going to be, you know, different scenes. Sometimes you can't show certain scenes, so you need to, the VFX comes into it. So that it's entirely depending on the story.
Okay, that's well answered. And this one last question about the film that you worked with, Butler. We have told the students to also watch the films and bring questions out of it. So Butler is like most of the filming is done in the United Kingdom, and there are few incidences and the experiences that you've got working with the crew. Can you share any one of them?
Incidents working with the crew.
Yeah.
I mean, I really liked working with Sujoy, I must say. He's such a creative person. He's in a little corner, sat there having his cup of tea, minding his own business. But you know, when you do ask him about the way the narration, the way they narrate the story, the way they tell me what scene he's going to take, it was really, I don't know. I find that I have not experienced that with the British director. But it's like the passion they have and how good they are, and also the technical people. With Butler, it's like the flexibility working with the UK crew. I'm amazed by it. You know, if it's like, you know, how they're so set in their mind as well, each technicians, but when they're coming here, when they have an English crew there or a crew from UK, when they say actually this is not going to work, and they're willing to say yes, okay, fine, let's try something, you know, try the way which is going to work best for them. And experience of Butler, I also must say the caterer was fantastic. The food was brilliant. The food was really good. And also meeting Tupsi for the first time. I had a great time chatting to her. And of course, you know, there were so many dietary requirements, so many different, because of Amitabh Bachchan was in the film, and how it all fell into play. And I have to give, there was a lot of, even in Butler, there was a lot of South Indian crew were there. So this, you know, I do see I do see a lot of Tamil people, a lot of Telugu people, even in the Bollywood crew when they come in for it, come in. So which is good, and then they find it quite homely when I start talking to them in Tamil. They find that quite. I think it's when they're homesick, when they do talk to somebody in their language, and they do like it. My experience of Butler is really great, and at the end of it, when we did watch it in the big screen, it is amazing. And I think it's always amazes me, Robert, and my team. It's like when we are on the set, we are watching little snips of, okay, a little bit of shooting there, a little bit of shooting there. When how they put together is amazing. It's amazing. You know, when we put together, when we're watching the final product, you kind of think, yes, I remember that scene. You know, how did they put all of it together so well? So it is overall, it's a fantastic experience.
Wow, wow. Because why I asked you about the Badla experiences, because it is a budget film, but it went on well at the box office, and it had
Yes.
great
It's a high budget film because you had really top actors in there.
Yes.
So I think there's one question that I'm going to pass. I don't know the time, but we have this one question, last question for Robert to answer.
Yes.
I think he's just a request. So. Yeah, he's okay. It's a request from Sanjay to ask Robert to watch more Tamil films. I will make sure of it, Sanjay. I will find some good DVDs for him and then pass it to him. Okay.
Oh, that was brilliant, ma'am. That was brilliant. Talking to Ms.Meera and Mr. Robert was lovely and wonderful. So hope our students have got many insights into filmmaking in the United Kingdom. Now, I would request.
Before that, just one second.
Yes, sir.
Madam Meera, I think our secretary has expressed so much of compliments for both of you that you have enlightened our students, like all the basic things. I think.
Thank you.
I think your way of explanation is fantastic. I think that is what expected from people like you. And I have one more request: when you visit India, you people, please make it a point to drop to our Avichi College, the AVM group. We will be more fortunate to invite you in person to our college and share your experience in person with all our students.
Well, yes, most definitely. I will give you guys enough time next time when we come. We'll be delighted to meet your students when we are in, hopefully in January, if everything goes well, fingers crossed, then we will let you know in good time.